Hello everyone, I am Asa Deshpande. I make design related vlogs and I am back with yet another vlog this time, and I'll be talking about how to make your products look premium and classy. How everyday products are designed. So look around you, your phone or even a baby toy or any chair you are sitting on or a bottle near you. None of these products happened by accident. Every curve, every minute detail, every button, every edge, or every corner, it was intentionally designed. Yes, but have you ever wondered how everyday products are actually created? So today we are breaking down how designers shape the products we use every day. When most people think about design, they think it's just making things look good. That's the reputation that designers have earned from some people. But real product design is much deeper than that. Designers solve problems. They think about comfort, utility, manufacturing, materials, safety, emotions, colors, and the list goes on. So a lot of things have to be thought about by designers, and sometimes tiny details completely change how we experience a product and its design. Like why bottle caps have ridges in them, why chairs have certain curved backs, and why toys are rounded mostly. Okay, everything is intentional. Now section 1 of the design, that is the design process. How does a design process start? Actually it starts with the problem. Yes, क्या प्रॉब्लम है आपके यूजर्स को, what actually is the root cause behind that problem needs to be identified first. So first step is identifying the problem. Maybe people find bottles slippery, maybe chairs become uncomfortable after prolonged usage, maybe children can't safely grip a toy. That's where designers begin their journey and the thought process. Well, designers love to observe people. What are their problems? What are their pain points? They observed all of these frustrations that people are having with particular objects. Then they come up and with innovative ideas, they create wonders with different product designs. Now comes the step 2, that is sketching ideas. Well, before making beautiful art, we are not talking about art here, we are talking about design. So design requires a lot of rapid, fast thinking and making lots of rough sketches before the one final refined selected sketch. So all of this is done over a period of time by designers. Yes, is not perfection, goal is exploration at this stage for any product designer. Now comes step 3, that is prototyping. What is prototyping? Basically, before creating the actual products, the usable ones, before creating that, you make a prototype. Prototype is something that replicates or looks very similar to what actually the product is going to be. So to do some consumer testing, you create small prototypes. They may be scaled down versions or exact 1:1, the exact size of the product versions as well. So different materials are used by designers to do prototyping, such as clay, foam, rubber, acrylic, thermocol, and so on. So whichever material is economically viable and you have the resources to get that, usually prototype is done using those materials and creating the impression that closely resembles the product you are going to be making. The pro tip here would be using 3D printing. The latest technology that industrial designers and product designers use these days is 3D printing. They can create fast prototyping, fast products through rapid prototyping and 3D printing techniques. So the machine is not that expensive and can easily be accessed. It's not difficult to run, it's very user friendly. So if you can get your hands on a 3D printing machine, your prototyping can be really fast and effective. So why prototyping is done? Because product designers as well as users need to feel the product in their hands. That's when you can feel the texture, feel the experience of the product altogether. So not something on paper, but transforming a sketch to a prototype is something that a designer does. Sometimes a design that looks perfect on paper might actually not work, might not result in a good prototype. So that's when the iterative process happens, and then designer has to focus on a different concept. Section 2 of this video is how bottles are designed. As I previously showed you some products ranging from a phone to a baby toy. But firstly, I'll be talking about a bottle. That's a very commonly available product, incredibly common that we have at our homes. So ergonomics. Now, a very important terminology for a designer or a design student is understanding ergonomics. Why do many bottles are kept narrow in the center section of the water bottle's shape? The answer is simple. For providing a grip, when you are holding it into your hands, to provide a good grip, you need a bottle to be narrow in the center. A small curve or a ridge in the center with a band detailing like this in terms of design can help you improve your grip and make the bottle less slippery when you are holding it with sweaty or wet hands. In my hands, both my hands, you can see different type of bottles for different users. This one is for small kids. This is a sipper bottle or a sipper cup, you can call. It's meant for tiny hands and tiny grips, okay? And this bottle, it has some ridges here for providing a nice grip. This is a stainless steel bottle, can be used by kids, can be used by adults. It's not very big in size. So you see how a designer thought differently in terms of the shape, the form, the material, everything according to the end user. Now when I show you this sipper in detail, let me bring a closer view. So the first thing that we notice is a very nice curved form, you can see, and these two handles for the child so he can grip from both the sides. Usually kids don't know how to hold bottles. They are learning drinking, they are learning how to handle a sipper cup like this. So this is a training cup designed. Go further into the details, you can see the markings given here according to the ml and how much a child should consume. A manual comes with this, at what age the child should consume how much amount of liquid. And it has a nice color silicone material, and this is how the upper part is shaped. So you see it closes and it doesn't drop water. Yes, so when I show you closely up here, it doesn't drop water. Yes, so this is a magic about this cup. So you see how smartly it has been designed and thought about by a designer. This is from Dr. Brown's brand. It is available in many stores. So this is not a sponsored video. I'm not talking about a particular brand. It happens to be a Dr. Brown's brand, but I'm talking about the design in general. So you see a small graphic detail has also been given. Of course it is transparent. You need to see what is there in the bottle to make the child be aware about different textures, be aware about different kind of things that he's consuming. It might have milk, it might have water, it might have some other juice. So the child needs to see the color, get familiar with the texture and all of that. Now let me show you a bigger size bottle. Yes, so this is generally available in stores whenever you are going for travel and all of that purpose. Now you see how a different handle has been given here, because otherwise you can see me holding this bottle. Otherwise if I hold this bottle, it's quite heavy, and if I'm traveling, it's a travel friendly pack. So whenever I have to travel somewhere, I need to carry it like this. I cannot keep carrying like this. Usually people carry it with one hand, but since it has a lot of weight, carrying it with one hand becomes difficult over a period of time. So giving this small detailing here, which is even bendable, you can bend it in all the directions. So this has made the product very smart design. Now let's talk a little about manufacturing, a little in detail about how the manufacturing designer needs to think about the manufacturing process. So even the small thing like shape also affects the manufacturing cost. Complex shapes means expensive molds. So when you have to create some complex shape, it requires a mold in which you will have to invest some amount of money. That's why simpler shapes is equal to faster production. This is generally possible and realistically it happens when a lot of products have to be manufactured. For example, this bottle that I showed you is mass manufactured product. Even the sipper cup that I showed you, this is also mass manufactured product. It's available at many places, many sites, everywhere it's available. So to make the cost a little less, you need to think about the manufacturing. And why a designer needs to think? Because he is the one who's working on the form, the color, the material. So he needs to keep that in mind. Now a little about branding. So designers also have to think about the branding part. Not just the brand logo, but how some bottles in terms of form become iconic. Think of Stanley tumblers, Lululemon bottles. They have become iconic because of their form and easy accessibility, as well as they look cool on the outer surface. Now coming to section 3 of this video is how chairs are designed. So I'll also include a furniture example such as a basic chair to explain about how can we make chairs look premium when it comes to product design. Designers study posture, alignment, how the back curve is, sitting angles, what are the pressure points and the spine alignment. All of this has to be studied before making the form of a chair. So entire research goes into thinking about all these aspects when it comes to a chair. Even a minute angle difference can cause acute back problem to somebody who has been sitting on that chair for a very long period of time. So that's the responsibility of a designer. He has to overlook into the different angles at which the back should be placed at. So now when it comes to chairs, they also have to think about the materials and the structures. Wood feels warm and natural. Metals feel industrial. Plastic enables bold forms. So every material changes the weight, the durability, the cost and the emotion attached to the chair. Now section 4 of this blog is how toys are designed. That's my favorite. That's why I wanted to include this in this video. How baby toys are designed and made to look premium and usable, basically kids friendly. It's a kids product mainly. So how, without harming the kid or in a way being friendly with the kid, how can the toys be designed? I've always thought that toy design as a field is very fascinating. It combines a lot of aspects a designer would love to work on: safety, psychology, color theory, interaction, and the biggest of them all, storytelling. So every product, small product, kids product, tells a story. It grows with the kid. Ideally should grow with the kid so that the kid can also keep the product for a longer period of time. Toy designers also uniquely think about certain aspects that other designers might forego, such as safety. That's the main thing when it comes to kid products, such as choking hazards, not overlooking them, but finding out possible hazards that can happen, or accidents or any kind of injury. So preventing it through their design is something I have found very fascinating and challenging always. Next, sharp edges, getting rid of sharp edges, including fillet as much as possible in their designs, toxic materials, grip size for children. Colors and emotions. Kids generally get attracted to a lot of brightly colored toys. It affects their engagement with the toy, how the overall experience is going to be. Even the sound of the toy is intentionally designed by the designer. Section 5 of this video is why good design feels invisible. The funniest thing about great design is you often don't notice it. So when your product works perfectly, it almost feels invisible. It's working on an auto mode. You feel so comfortable with it that you forget that even it's there and its utility when it's actually not there in your life. In case of this product, I don't have to think about it much because if this is in my child's hand and I don't have an issue with spilling, it will never spill the water outside from this sippy cup. You see, a good design reduces friction. What makes products iconic or premium or classy? That's a $1 million question, and I think you've watched this video till the very end. You are here because of this question. So now I'll be talking about that. So a good product usually balances these three things: emotion, utility, and simplicity. If a product only looks good, it eventually fails. If a product only functions well, people may ignore it. Great design creates connections between these 3 points. So next time when you pick up a bottle or a furniture or any kind of product, just for a minute think about a person who is behind the design of that particular object. A product designer has been working for many days on many ideas before the product comes live to you. If you have made it so far, आप अभी तक बने हुए हैं, तो thank you so much. Please consider subscribing and share this video, like this video. I will be back next week with more such design related videos. Thank you so much.